Hey Void, how you doing? Vivi Rizzo's back. So it's been a while and I've been letting my reviews pile up again, so I'm gonna bust a couple out tonight just to see if I can catch up a little bit from my backlog, since I've been watching more movies than I've been sitting down and recording. So, okay. Oh, away we go. And I started this one off with Hell House LLC 3, Lake of Fire. Now, I don't really recall off the top of my head the ratings I gave the last two Hell House LLCs. I know I rated the first one rather highly, and the second one I think I gave an okay review to. Now this one, it's not bad. I will say that. But we're definitely getting into diminishing returns areas. I mean, it's definitely watchable, and it's a good wrap up to the series. But there's a few things that are definitely a bit more of a stretch, and a few things does feel a bit retready at this point. So it continues along the gimmick of this being found footage all put together, a mixture of events, things that were filmed there, and then news reports and experts talking about the incident at the Abaddon Hotel. Now, this one involves a wealthy producer, director, visionary who's has a traveling show that's like an interactive walk through it, and you'll interact with the actors as they perform the show, and they're doing this version of Faust. And he's now moving it to the Abaddon Hotel. And a lot of people are nervous about the inevitable what's going to happen. And as the production goes along, essentially a film crew is led in to film the proceedings. Strange things again start happening. And the guy who is running the show, the visionary director Russell Wynn, seems a little suspicious on why he's doing this, as if he might be tied into the whole cult that Andrew Tully is put together. Tully being the guy who built the Abaddon Hotel and was using it to open a gate to hell, which then Hell House LLC proceeded to help with, accidentally or semi-willingly. Anyway, so the first chunk of the movie is kind of a rehash of showing a lot of clips from the first two movies, which, if you're really familiar with it, is a bit tedious. But me, I've only seen the first films once each, and the first one was over a year ago. So I actually did appreciate a bit of the recap on that. Now, someone who's more familiar with it or has seen it more recently, maybe a bit extra. But some of the names and clips and some of the rooms, you didn't need to see again. And it pretty much follows their productions, their rehearsals, and getting ready for the big night. And then opening night, well, all hell breaks loose again. There's still some effective creepiness amongst the the production. There's some of the clown shit that goes on. It's still as effective as it was before, but sometimes you have to wonder how the actors keep going on with some obviously creepy shit going on around them. There's only so much that these guys can be being paid. And I will say the effects towards the end get a little dodgy. And I guess we're going to head a little into spoiler territory here, a bit. Once the demons start running around, they're pretty much just cloaked figures with a bit of face makeup. It's not a bad look. It works. It's a bit much, but at the same time, just some of the characters hiding while you see these people just being murdered in the background by these figures, it is a little unsettling. So it's kind of a mixed bag once the climax hits, but once it gets to the kind of final confrontation, it's a bit lackluster. And the whole thing with the angel aspect is, I can see a lot of people not liking it. Me, I can see where the buildup came from, and I can see it kind of playing out. Like, they foreshadowed enough, and they have a twist in with it that works, but at the same time, you have to kind of really think back a lot to bend a few things into place to make it make sense. But it works enough, and I'm glad they didn't delve into the realm of angels before now, but I don't know if they really needed to, but here we are. Okay, sure movie. I'll give it to you. So this one, it's not bad, but it's definitely my least favorite of the three. The first one's kind of, I'd still say, the standout. That's worth it just for completionist sake. I'll go ahead and give this one, we'll say 6 MacGuffins out of 10. It's slightly above average. The interactions between the characters are still fun, but it overall, it's just not as strong as previous entries. I mean, when the creepy shit's happening, it's good, but there's less of it and more build up around that doesn't seem to be going anywhere until it's the very end, and by then it's a little too late. But overall, there's some things to like about it. The characters in particular, are so they're decent. Well, actually, they're above average for a horror film of this type. They're likable, which, considering some of the other movies I'm going to be, one of the other movies I'm reviewing tonight, that's a step up. So, Hell House LLC 3, Lake of Fire. I could use a little more Lake of Fire myself, but yeah, we'll make do, huh? So, 6 MacGuffins. Okay, I'll see you in a couple of full minutes with something a little bit more classy. See you guys soon.